no gold is not enough.
Deputy then everyone, Fireblockster here, and welcome back to my channel. And today we're gonna talking about the Black Friday event. And yes, it's finally here, and we're gonna finally buy something. Well, I bought something, so yeah, but you are gonna buy something on this event right here. So there it is. So get some coupons from the offers from the store and exchange them for rewards. So premium accounts, awesome container, collectible containers, black boxes, certificates for each tiers, and some free XPs, and of course the 10 times XPs. So nothing bad right here. So nothing bad. But when it comes to coupons, 400 coupons, first you can get Chimera. So we're gonna see about this tank right here. It's a very good tank right here, but it has pretty decent armor for me. But when it comes to tier 9, you're gonna get penetrated. But when it comes to tier 7, maybe you will get some bounces on the turret right here. So nothing bad tank right here. It has big gun, but it has decent DPM and a good penetration. So it has 10 degrees of gun oppression and pretty good mobility. It's a medium tank, so nothing special there. It has the accuracy, pretty good-ish accuracy. 4.2 seconds, not good, but it's a pretty solid medium tank right here. And the second reward is the Char Photo 4, which is the French tier 9 medium tank right here. And it has no armor, but the gun, it's not good. But you have good TPM, but not good accuracy. And you have pretty goodish penetration with 7 degrees of gun oppression. Nothing bad, nothing bad. But you have 60 kilometers per hour right here. So it's a good tank, but no armor. But it's a pretty decent, it's like a Leopard prototype A, but it has a pretty decent tank. It's a pretty, not that worse, not that better, but yeah, you're gonna take out with it. But well, yeah. And the third reward is the brand new tank that is finally being near. Is a WZ114 SB2. And yeah, not bad tank right here. So yeah, let's get right into it. So the gun itself, it has not good accuracy right here. Pretty decent DPM. Pretty, for me, a decent penetration. And it do have 7 degrees of gun oppression right here. But the armor, this tank, it's not a heavy tank. In World of Tanks PC, it's a tank destroyer, and it has worse armor than the World of Tanks Blitz. So this guy in this game, it has much better armor, and you will maybe not get some bounces when it comes to hull down. I don't think so. But speaking of armor, the top speed is 32 kilometers per hour, so it's a pretty slow tank. Nothing special, but you're armored, and yeah, not good with that. And yeah, it's a pretty decent tank, pretty decently bad, but nothing special. Maybe you have armor, a decent gun, decent mobility. It's a decent tank for me. And paying $300 or 300 euros on this tank, I will not recommend that for me, because if you're rich, then go ahead, buy anyways. But for the free-to-players or or you have average kind of money, do not ever spend a lot of kind of things from the Black Friday when you come all to collect all of these tanks, these free tanks right here. So, but when it comes to coupons, we're gonna go in the Black Friday section. There's a lot of things to do. There's a lots of it. Let's get into black boxes, which is they just improved that, but it's still not good. Still not good. But you're gonna gamble up to black box free, which is pretty good, but still small rewards for you. Yeah, again, only up to black box free. But yeah, when it comes to the bigger one, it costs you $100 to get 60 black boxes. And what about coupons? 500 of them. If you want to compare into this one, which is 37.5k gold, you will get 450 coupons more than the 60 black boxes. And it costs you 90 euros, which is which is 10 euros cheaper than a 60 boxes. So buy this one if you wish you wanna take some coupons and finally buy something about it. So yeah, especially with this. Now let's get into T28 HTC or heavy tank concept or whatever. It's really armored, but not for tier 8, and even the machine gun turrets, not good with that, but the gun itself, it has good DPM, it has pretty decent accuracy, but you have 4 degrees of gun depression, which is bad. And you are slow. I think, yeah, kinda. It's a pretty decent tank, but you will no longer be armored for the tier 8. But when it comes to tier 6, you're gonna get some bounces. But you need to just you need to just sides. You need to hide your machine gun turret when it comes to this kind of turret right here. When it comes to this one, is like when this kind of line is like a building, you're gonna getting easier to hide your machine gun turrets. So yeah, it's a pretty decent tank, but for $10, I will I will not recommend that for me because yeah, it costs you pretty nothing. But it's a pretty decent tank right here, but not good for you right here. But there's another resources right here for 5 euros. Okay, not bad. But you have 3k gold. You're gonna finally buy something cheaper when I'll show you later. So there's another one which costs you only €1, only or $1, and you will get some pretty good, decently good rewards right here. So and now let's get into tanks right here. So first one, I already reviewed it. Object 268 version 4. It's a tier 10 Russian tank destroyer, and it has good armor, but it has pretty goodish DPM. But when it comes to previous updates, they just nerfed from 690 to 650 hit points of damage. So pretty just a decent nerf, but it's still a very good gun right here. But it has a pretty bad accuracy, and you have 5 degrees of gun depression, not good for you. And when it comes to this tank, you will get penetrated on this kind of sights. That means this right here or this right here, you wanna hide your sights, but it will not work because everyone will penetrate you, and it's pretty bad. Okay, doggo, stop barking. I just reviewing this tank. Okay, so speaking of that dog right here, Now we're gonna see that I just bought this tank. It's a VK9001P. It's a very good tank. It's a tier 10 German super heavy tank. And it's very good for side scraping because you have lots of armor, even at the sides. And for this tank, it has they added combat stabilization in the previous update, which is very nice. Very nice. Wargaming, just to see in this. So let's get into gun right here. The gun itself, pretty decent, but you have this goodish DPM, and you have 10 degrees of gun depression only when the turret will go left or right, because you're going on a straight on a hull. It will have 5 or 4, maybe 6 degrees of gun depression. I think 5 degrees or 3, I don't know. But when you go left or right, it will actually have a 10 degrees of gun depression. It's just a rear mounted tank, so not good for this. But you have armor, which is very nice to know about. It's a slow tank, 30 kilometers per hour, which is pretty slow, pretty weak. So nothing special right here. And mobility, yeah, nothing special. But this tank is really fantastic when it comes to its armor. And even with the gun depression, and they added combat stabilization, which is very nice to know. So, yeah, worth buying. It costs you 16,000 gold. Nothing special there. If you wanna buy this, if you have some gold, buy this tank if you want, because this tank is really good for side scraping, and I'll definitely recommend you to buy it. So nothing special there. And we got a T95 E6, which is a tier 10 American heavy tank, which is like a Leopard 1. It's like a heavy version of a Leopard 1. It has pretty decently good armor, but except the cupola, I don't think so. But you will have a good DPM, good-ish penetration, pretty decently good accuracy, and 10 degrees of gun depression, which is very nice, and solid 50 kilometers per hour, which is very fast for this heavy tank. It's like you will need to act like a medium tank, and nothing special there. Nothing actually special there. Same as the VK9001P, they added combat stabilization on the previous update, so which is very nice to know about it. And yeah, it's a pretty good tank, but not for beginners, same as the Leopard 1, because it has pretty decent armor, nothing special. So yeah, then we got a menacing trio for $12, or just 12 euros, I don't think so. You will have these kind of tanks right here. The WZ-111. It's a Soviet style tank. You have 122 millimeter gun, same as almost every single Soviet heavy tanks at tier 8. So nothing special. You have pretty bad DPM and pretty good-ish penetration and 5 degrees of gun depression. Not good with this. But you will not get some bounces. When you go just wiggling around because you have Pycanos, it will go in the middle. Maybe you will get some bounces. Maybe. But when you go side scraping, it will penetrate you. So nothing special there. But it's pretty slow, 35 kilometers per hour. Not good, but bad tank for me. Another Chinese tank is a T-34-3, and this tank is pretty decent for me. You have pretty decent armor, but turrets, maybe you gotta be strong, but not for the hull. You have not good DPM, and not good penetration. It's like pretty decent, 5 degrees of gun depression. Yeah, and 50 kilometers per hour right here. So nothing special there. The accuracy, let me see, pretty good-ish, but for dispersion, pretty bad, pretty bad. And pretty bad for you, but it's a pretty decent tank. But only thing that you're gonna get it is an action 10 or action X or whatever you can call it. It's a T8 British heavy tank, which is pretty shattered by normal Cairn of whatever it is. I don't even remember that. You have good DPM, goodish penetration, good accuracy, 10 degrees of gun depression, and 36 kilometers per hour, which is pretty good tank, a very good tank. So, two bad tanks and one good tank. And can I recommend this tank? That's up to you. That's up to you. For $12, it's up to you. Nothing special, nothing special. But for 60 coupons, not good for you. So, yeah. Let's get into WZ114, which has armor, but the gun itself, yeah, is pretty. The gun itself, it has decently good penetration, decently bad DPM. I mean, the accuracy, pretty decently not good, and 32 kilometers per hour. It's a pretty decent tank, but you have a good armor and you have a big gun. So it's not that big gun. I think 130 millimeter. I think 470. Yeah, maybe it's gonna be 130 millimeter. Nothing special there, but well, yeah, quite a little bit for this tank. And the K91 right here, I already reviewed it, but this tank already got a PBR, which I'll talk about this update later. So yeah, keep it in mind. These guys, I will post that. I will post that. But let's get into it. It has an armor. So technically, for me, it's technically the same thing. I think you're gonna penetrate this kind of this from the manlet and this kind of thing that is like a Mickey Mouse looking turret right here. So maybe you're gonna penetrate it. Maybe it's kind of troll, but well, yeah, it has good DPM. It's an auto loader, not a single shotgun like other Tier 9 Soviet heavy tanks. It's a very good with this, and you have good penetration alongside with 7 degrees of gun depression, which is pretty good for you. 40 degrees, I mean 40 kilometers per hour, so quite pretty good with this tank right here. So it's a pretty good tank. And we got the AMX-30 first prototype, which is better than the AMX-30B or the Tier 10 because it has a huge cupola, and this tank, it has small cupola, which is very nice. You have decent armor, but you have good-ish DPM and a good-ish penetration along and a pretty decent accuracy and a 10 degrees of gun depression, and the top speed is 60 kilometers per hour, which is very nice tank. It's a pretty solid tank right here. But for the 9,000 gold, you're gonna regret buying this. You're gonna regret buying this. So yeah, HWK 30 for 12,000 golds. I mean, it's a new tank, like comes on the crates, but it has no armor. It's like a RU-251, but nothing special there. Nothing special there. It's totally a RU-251-ish tank. It's like a nothing special tank. It has 70 kilometers per hour, and yeah, I will not recommend to buy this because it has 12,000 golds, and yeah, so Alproto IMX 30. So it costs you 9,500 golds. The turret, yeah, and I think the gun manlet it's pretty well impenetrable, but the hull itself, you get penetrated by some of these tanks. And at DPM, not good, and the penetration is pretty decent. And at 10 degrees of gun pressure, which is very nice, and 58 kilometers per hour, which is pretty good mobility it has. But no armor. Expect a gun manlet, I think. But this tank, pretty mediocre for me. I will not buy that because it's pretty mediocre type of tank, but you have a gun manlet and the gun, yeah, it's a pretty not that solid with this. And then we got a Type 57, a Tier 8 Japanese heavy tank. It's an Object 252U on steroids. This thing is like a futuristic looking tank. And yeah, it has 10 degrees of gun depression. That means it's very good for hull down. His accuracy is not that good, and mobility is pretty decent. Well, decent at all. For 8,000 golds, not bad. Not bad for this tank. It's a really good tank. It's a better version of Object 252U. Maybe a better version of Skoda T56. So, if you want to buy this, go ahead and get yourself this tank right here. And then we got an Emo 1951, which is the worst Emo one because it has a little bit worse armor than an Emo 1. And yeah, it's the same kind of playstyle as the Emo 1, but nothing kind of things to do, and yeah, pretty decent. In a size, you will get HE by some of the heavy tanks or medium tanks, so not good for that, not good for that. But you have 10 degrees of gun depression, very nice, 40 kilometers per hour, which is pretty good for this heavy tank. And yeah, it's a worse Emo 1, but I will not buy that because get yourself an Emo 1 instead, and that's it. It has the kind of same play style, nothing special there. And then we got a TS5, which has a pretty good armor. I mean, decently good armor. On the lower plate, you will get penetrated, or sometimes. So sides and rear, pretty penetrable. And yeah, you have good DPM, but you have good penetration, and you have 5 degrees of gun depression. And pretty slow, 26 kilometers per hour, which is pretty slow for this tank. It's a pretty lazy tank. It's a very lazy tank right here. But I will not buy that because it's pretty slow for me. Centurion Mark 51, the Tier 8 Australian medium tank. Pretty good tank. It has very good armor, especially the turret and the upper hull, so which is very nice to bounce something. Even with the hull down, you will get some bounces right there, which is very good tank right here. So decently good DPM, decently good penetration, 10 degrees of gun depression, which is very nice, and 45 kilometers per hour, which is pretty decent for this medium tank. And yeah, nothing special. 7,000 golds. It's nothing special. It has really good armor, but it's your choice. You're gonna buy this or not. That is your choice. If you wanna buy this or not, it's yours. It's up to you. So yeah, T54 Mod 1 with all the T54 first prototype. It's a better armored version of a T44. It has lots of armor, but it has a pretty not good gun. I mean, the 4.2 seconds of aiming time, not good. Dispersion is pretty good-ish, but it has a decent DPM. So, and not good penetration, 5 degrees of gun oppression, and 44 kilometers per hour, which is pretty decently good tank. But you have lots of armor, but for not permanently. I mean, 7,000 gold, same as a Centurion. You need to buy, if you have 7,000 gold, you need to buy Centurion Mark 5.1 over T54 Mod 1. So, yeah, nothing special there. Skoda T27, it's a very good tank. It's like a TBP T5051 before update 10.3 on tier 8. So it's like the same playstyle, but you will not have a 4 shells of magazines. You will have 3 shells of magazine. And yeah, you have decent DPM, decent penetration. I mean, this tank, it has no armor, but it's actually a good gun and good mobility right here. It's a kind of fantastic for you. It's a really very nice to do. And the compensation, yeah, I will not buy it because I already have it, so I don't need to save that. So for this tank, it's a really fantastic to play, and it's up to you because it has no armor, and it's pretty good tank. Not gonna lie, it's actually pretty good tank. And let's get into LT-432. It's a Soviet light tank. It's tier 8 one. And yeah, it's a pancake looking tank. That's right, it's a pancake looking tank. You will get some. The armor is kind of troll for the hull, but for the tower it's not good. But the hull is really troll. It's really pretty troll. You're gonna ricochet almost anything, anything. So decent DPM, not good penetration, decent, not that bad aiming time and dispersion, 5 degrees of gun impression, and 30 kilometers per hour on reverse, which is very nice, very nice, and a 70 kilometers per hour on a forward. So, which is pretty nice to know. It's really fast tank. You have decent gun, but you have very troll armor on the hull. 5,000 golds, not bad for this tank. You wanna buy this? Just regret it. You need to buy this one. And then there's the 2 tanks that I bought it. So let me look in at it. So first we got a E25. And it's a cockroach. It's definitely a cockroach. For 4,000 golds, it's a very good tank. It's a good tank to destroy. It's a small guy that has 3,000 DPM if you're using gun rammer, which is very nice. It's actually very nice. It has 3,000 DPM. It's very good mobility, and it has very good mobility, 65 kilometers per hour. It's a very, and the power to weight ratio, it's so powerful. It's so good for this tank. But you have pretty good penetration, but not for a HE with the higher explosive one. I would not recommend to take with this tank because it has 75 millimeter. I don't think so. But you have 8 degrees of gun impression, which is very special, and is very useful for face hugging against a tank that doesn't have any kind of gun oppression. For like big tanks, for the big tanks that doesn't have a gun impression, okay, that will be good with it. But go ahead if you wanna recommend this, I will recommend it. But for 4k golds, it's a very good tank with this. And then we got another tank, which is a Titan HND. It's a tier 7 hybrid nation heavy tank. That was a van tank that you just need to spend a little kind of money on this tank. So this tank, it has good-ish armor, but the turret is really strong, but the hull is not. But when it comes to dynamic armor, you will get some small improvements, but not for tier 8. It will get some penetration. You will get some penetration. Even you will have a dynamic armor when you're losing half of your hit points. So nothing special with this tank. Nothing special. You have good-ish DPM, and the accuracy is not good. 7 degrees of gun pressure and 35 kilometers per hour, which is pretty slow tank for this tank. It's pretty slow. It's a pretty decent tank, but I don't know if you cost same as a 4K or 3.5K. I don't think so. But for this tank, maybe I would not recommend for this tank because it's not that armored. But except the turret is really armored on the front, so nothing special. Actually, nothing special. Nothing special thing right here. So let's get into all the way down. And we got the Cromwell B, which is pretty good tank. You have a good gun depression. For 2k golds, it's a really nice for you. It's really nice to take yourself this tank. But if you're not a low tier enjoyer, I will not buy it. But if you just a newbie friendly tank that you wish to buy almost every single low tier tanks to just pieces you know lie, you're gonna buy this for 2k. It's really nice for you, not gonna lie. It's a pretty good tank. And when it comes to the mad games, when you're using a rammer and a chameleon, you will get some ramming speed. It's a really good credit making tank, and it's a pretty good tank with it. It has no armor, but it has pretty good gun. But this tank is really pretty good. It has good mobility. If you want to buy it yourself, just go ahead and get it with it. And last but not least, we got a Stridsvagn 74A2. It has an AMX 13 turret on the Swedish tank, so nothing special. It's like a Skoda T25, but a little bit better. And yeah, it's a kind of tank that has good ace penetration, but you have no gun impression, even gun elevation, 6 degrees and 9 degrees. Yeah, not good for this tank. But you have no armor, but the gun itself is pretty good tank. So for the 1.5k golds to the tier 6 Swedish medium tank, you are gonna buy this tank for you. And the same thing as the Cromwell B, you will just, it's your choice. It's your choice right here. So nothing special there. So let's get right into it. What can I recommend you buy it? It's worth it or not? Black boxes, not worth it because it's just another gamble thing to do. It's like, kids, don't gamble it. Just save your money on very good tanks. Do not gamble it, okay? Do not gamble it. T28 HDC, not worth it for someone. Worth it for even someone. So yeah. Object, worth it. It's definitely worth it, but for this armor, not worth it for you. T95, worth it only for pro players, for newbie friendlies, not worth it. Menacing Trio, it's a pretty mix between not worth it and worth it because you have an action 10. It's pretty worth it. Even you have two bad tanks, it's pretty worth it. 114, not worth it. K91, worth it. 30, AMX 30, worth it. HWK 30, not worth it. Alberto AMX 30, not worth it and worth it. It's the same. It's a really tricky right here. So very tricky. Type 57, worth it. Emo 1951, not worth it. TS5, not worth it. Centurion, worth it. But this tank is actually a free tank that gives away a tank that is that you're gonna watch streams on a tournament and you will get yourself this tank for free. Nothing special there, nothing special there, but yeah, if you don't have this tank, it's worth it for you. T54 mod 1, not worth it. Not worth it, by the way. Skoda T27, worth it, pretty worth it. LT432 is pretty worth. Chrome will be worth it. NSDRV7482, pretty worth it. And a tank that I just bought. So, where is it? Where is my boy? VK9001, pretty worth it. Then we got the E25, pretty worth it for you, by the way. Pretty worth it for you. And the Titan HND, not worth it for you. So, yeah, it's pretty tricky. But for coupons, if you wanna just go ahead and get some coupons on this kind of thing, go ahead and buy it. And I recommend you to buy an awesome container because you will have a lot of good things. You wanna choose collect them all, black boxes or mystery boxes, or just for golds. Okay, that is actually your choice, or any kind of tanks right here. So pretty good for you. So nothing special there. Or you're gonna gamble it into WZ121 FT, which is a tier 8 Chinese Chinese tank destroyer. And yeah, it is not worth it for you. I talking about this one every single human thing. So yeah, I think that's it for the Black Friday event. So like and subscribe and tell about something good in the comments, and goodbye.